Thank you very much. I am very pleased that the hospital is trying to celebrate its 45th anniversary, and that takes me back a long time. Most people in the hospital, the university, know me as CT John. That's how everybody calls me. But I've been told to introduce myself fully. I am the Right Honorable Chevalier Professor Celestine T. John. I'm a Papal Knight of the Catholic Church, a Knight of St. Columba, a Fellow of Royal College, West African Colleges, and International College. I was brought back to Nigeria by the University of Lagos. And then I got harassed good and properly by the late Professor Francis, the first provost and CMD of the teaching hospital. In those days, the provost was also the chief medical director of the hospital. And he harassed me good and proper. And because my brother and friend, the late Professor Mimi Briggs, was already here, I finally joined the university and the teaching hospital in 1981. Now, after a lot of ups and downs, I came down, but officially I joined the university and the teaching hospital in October 1981. The hospital, well, the university originally is still where it is, but the teaching hospital was at the Choba Park, and we managed, that is the administrative arm of the teaching hospital was in Choba Park. You know, a medical school cannot function without a teaching hospital. So the teaching hospital that we used originally was in Emoha. So the cottage hospital in Emoha. And it was very interesting. We came to work from town, went to the administrative place, did our usual work there, and all the clinical work were in Emoha. And I don't know how many of you know Emoha. You have to pass the bridge on your way to Bayelsa. Somewhere on the left, as if we're going to Abonima, the hospital was there. It's a small cottage hospital. And late Professor Francis was the CMD. It was just a small group of us. Dr. Mangete, the head of department was the late Professor Briggs, and we had Professor Adote in surgery. We had Dr. Uzogara in psychiatry, that's in medicine. We had, in terms of the clinical staff, we also had Dr. Anna, Professor Anna, who joined us from the University of Benin. So that was the core people, you know. So in terms of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, I had the late Professor Mimi Briggs, Professor Harrison, who is now residing and retired in Finland, and myself. I took over as head of department. I served for 15 years as the head of department, the longest serving head of department in West Africa. We were told that the hospital, the university government and the federal government had decided that we should take over the general hospital in town, Port Harcourt. So on the 31st of August 1983, at 7 a.m. in the morning, we were all at the Emoha hospital. We packed as much as we can. It was a very interesting thing. There was a lot of shuttle up and down, but then traffic wasn't as bad in Port Harcourt as it is today. And officially, we relocated to the teaching hospital in the General Hospital in Port Harcourt. At one point, when Professor Anna was the provost, at that point, we had the late Professor Francis, then followed by Professor Ogbo. We now provost and CMDs. So it was at that point when Professor Anna was the provost that the federal government decided to split the provost as a major department of the provost of the university, and that the teaching hospital will be run by the chief medical directors. So that was when there was this parting of ways. And then, of course, when we went over to the General Hospital, we had Dr. Long John as our chief medical officer. It was also after he left, we had Dr. Mangete, and so on and so forth. When Mangete left, Professor Julie took over from him, and then, of course, as you would have known, the various doctors who came after them. And for the moment, we have Professor Henry Uboma, which I must be pleased to say is one of my boss. I admitted him, I employed him as a resident doctor and saw him through all his career until where he is today. So I'm glad that he's there today, and that the department that has always been forefront of everything is now the CMD. So we thank God for him. And I was at the required time, I retired from the teaching hospital at the university. All I can wish for is the hospital to grow and grow and become one of the top most teaching hospitals in West Africa. So we thank God for his many blessings, and may the souls of my colleagues who left us, those who started the place, rest in peace. And we commend the present CMD and wish the hospital well. Thank you.